Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
This is yet another James Bond. This is episode 11.
Of My Thing, Your Thing with Hannah.
And Donovan.
Heck.
It's actually episode 11 of the James Bond.
Yeah, of course.
Specifically.
Who
knows how many?
When this comes out.
Yeah.
In what order?
Who knows? This week, we're going to be talking about Moonraker.
The one that they did because Star Wars.
Yes, Hannah, thank you.
You said it last time. I didn't pop your bubble.
Yeah, but I was gonna build up in a certain way.
Okay.
It's fine.
We can edit that out and you can build away. We'll just pretend like
Star Wars!
Star Wars!
What? Yeah, okay. So last time we watched Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah, the one that is currently my favorite Bond movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest of them are going to be ranked as, but that one's number one.
Yeah, fair enough. It was very successful. It kind of reinvigorated interest in James Bond after it kind of reached a bit of a nadir in the mid-70s.
Sure.
So they were like, hey, this was the most successful James Bond film so far in raw numbers. Awesome, great, let's make the sequel. At the end of the movie, it says James Bond will be back in For Your Eyes Only. But, funny thing, no.
This is not For Your Eyes Only.
This is not. 1977 was a hell of a year for film. Spy Who Loved Me was the most successful Bond film, but it came in behind, as best I can tell, 3 other films worldwide. One of which was Saturday Night Fever, which, you know, it was the late 70s, everyone loved disco.
That's amazing.
The other 2 films had a similar theme. One was by that plucky little director who asked to do the last film, Steven Spielberg. That would be Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
But number 1 was Star Wars.
Star Wars!
Space is in, baby.
It's hot.
Shoot for the moon.
Carl Sagan got a television show right now?
Yeah, I think Cosmos
Absolutely.
is going on. Like,
Yeah.
people are excited. And in 1978, there weren't a lot of space films because, you know, the craze hasn't fully hit yet. But by, like, 1979, 1980, like, space films were being made. You know, like, Alien was coming out. Like, you know, people were making space sci-fi stuff. It became a huge deal. Once again, Steven Spielberg says, hey, I want to direct a James Bond movie.
Please.
But Lewis Gilbert just made the most successful James Bond movie. They're not going to not go with him if he wants to do it.
Right.
So he's back. And he does it again.
Can I make a prediction? And you can tell me right now if I am wrong or right.
Go for it.
But they're going to keep not giving Steven Spielberg a Bond movie. Steven Spielberg does not get to make a Bond movie.
Steven Spielberg's not ever going to make a Bond
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future of when we're recording this, he will for like Amazon or some shit. But he does not do it.
It just like,
Yeah.
I mean, he just had a really huge movie, so it kind of seems like a good time to do it. But also, they just had a massive success coming off of a couple of movies that didn't do quite as good.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, well, yeah, let's not change the tune now.
Actually, that's kind of a good point because it kind of goes into, I think, one of the major problems with Moonraker. So follow me on this one. Spy Who Loved Me is the most successful James Bond movie so far. You're going to get the same director. You're going to bring back a bunch of characters from the last one, obviously including James Bond, but not just James Bond. And, like, you're kind of making a direct sequel to Spy Who Loved Me because that was such a huge film. Also, you're doing space stuff because Star Wars is big and all that kind of stuff. You're sort of serving 2 masters there. You're trying to replicate the success of a movie and then also you're trying to trend chase at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work, in my opinion, and you'll probably see that here in the film.
Oh, hey, this is actually why I don't want to watch the new Final Destination movie. It's because, like, you're trying to appeal to the nostalgia, but also you're trying to hit on with, like, the current trend of multiverse nonsense, which everybody's already tired of.
Everyone is already tired of, yeah.
So, like, don't do that. Also, 3 of the 5 Final Destination movies are good. It's only the odd ones. Don't bother with the even ones.
Don't bother with any of them. They're all bad.
Why do you hate fun?
I don't hate fun.
You just hate Final Destination.
Yes, I will forever hate Final Destination because, hey, Donovan is a big roller coaster fanatic. I think it's 3, the one with the roller coaster that goes off the tracks or whatever.
Yes, that's 3.
That's, for anybody who understands how roller coasters work, the dumbest shit. That's not how roller coasters work. And also, I'm sorry, less than a pound handheld camcorder is going to have the ability to derail a, like, multi-ton train going at 60 miles an hour. No. Fucking no. Obviously not. That's stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, but Donovan, they were destined to die.
Anyway,
Moonraker.
So the plot is only loosely going to be based on the actual book.
I was going to ask, is there a main Moonraker book?
There is.
Okay.
But like I said, they're really not going to use much of the plot. They actually use more of the plot in 2002's Die Another Day.
Really?
Yeah, they kind of like take a bunch of ideas from the book that they didn't use in this movie, and they're going to reuse that later on. This actually kind of happens a lot through James Bond's history, where like there will be an idea in a book, and then the movie that they base on that book doesn't use that idea, so they like reuse it in a different one.
Yeah.
I have not read enough of the books to kind of give you the blow by blow there, but from what I understand, it happens all the time. Hannah.
So
the last one had a budget of $14 million.
Yeah.
Which was the biggest James Bond budget by far. It was twice of what the previous few films had been. What's the budget for this one?
20.
Higher.
Really? Higher than 20 million?
Yeah.
Jeez. Was it 25?
Higher.
Higher than 30?
Higher.
35?
$34 million.
34 million. Jeez, Pete's.
They are just throwing money at this one.
Just gonna burn it to power the cars, man.
Yeah. And that also includes some savings because they filmed in France because they found it would be cheaper to film in France than it would be for England. So they ballooned the budget 20 million more than the last film. And they're still like, well, we got to film it somewhere else so we can save money.
How many millions of dollars did the first James Bond movie make again?
The very first one?
Yeah.
The very first James Bond movie made $60 million on a $1 million budget.
Okay.
Which was great return.
I was just trying to figure out, like, if they are perhaps overplaying their hand a scotch with, like, you know, how much money can they make with this?
Yeah. That's actually going to be an interesting point with the next film. We'll talk about it next week. Because ballooning movie budgets actually becomes a bit of a problem. But for now, $34 million. Roger Moore, his 3-film deal was over. But he had a great time making Spy Who Loved Me.
Have we already watched 3 Roger Moore movies?
Live and Let Die, Man with a Golden Gun, Spy Who Loved Me.
Good Lord.
Yeah. But he had a blast making Spy Who Loved Me. It was a huge hit. He was like, I'll be back. And it wasn't even a question. He just signed right back up. But from now on, he's only going to be signing on one movie at a time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A few other people are back. Including Jaws.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. He's coming back.
Yeah, Richard Kiel is going to be back as Jaws. It's weird.
Is it?
It's weird.
Is he working for a new guy?
Kind of. Yeah. He's got a girlfriend. Like,
what?
It's weird. Trust me. You're going to watch this and you're going to be like, what the hell is this? You might like it, though. Like, you might think it's so stupid that you love it. Ken Adam is back.
Yay!
And not only is Ken Adam back, he is building the biggest set in the French film industry history.
Hell yes.
I'm going to say this up front. I don't like Moonraker. I think it's bad. I have not seen it in a long time, so maybe I'll watch it and be like, it's better than I remember. But the sets are fantastic. Like, Ken Adams, like, he outdoes himself on this one.
He's just been raising the bar each time he comes through.
Yeah,
so.
he destroys. It's really good. The music. John Barry's back.
Yeah.
And they got Shirley Bassey singing the theme.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. They originally wanted Frank Sinatra. He said, no thanks. Then they tried to get Kate Bush, and she said, no thanks. And then Johnny Mathis started it, but he didn't finish it. And so they just said, let's get Shirley Bassey again. So this will be the third of 3 Shirley Bassey James Bond themes.
Good for her.
Yeah. Pretty big deal. not a whole lot more preamble to go by here. That's going to be it, and now we're going to watch this dumb movie.
Heck yeah, let's go.
There will be a lot to talk about after, though.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-da.
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day awaits the way.
And we're back.
Well, that was 2/3 of a pretty okay movie, and 1/3 of.
Yeah. Boy, okay. Initial impression is that it's not as bad as I remember it being.
Okay, for sure. I mean, yeah, that last third leaves quite the impression.
Yeah, it's like 2/3 a James Bond movie and 1/3 like this really dumb. I want to say low budget sci-fi because it kind of feels like it.
Yeah, it does.
Even though it's not, it's very high budget, and like some of the stuff looks great, and but some of the stuff does not look great. It's not aged well.
Yeah, a lot of like, okay, obviously Ken Adam, the set design, it looks really good.
Yeah,
But like every time they're like moving in slow motion because there's zero gravity.
yeah.
No, don't do that.
It's just really ridiculous, and there's so many times in the movie where you're just sort of like, wait, what? Huh? We're doing this?
Yeah, there were a couple of times where we were fully like, okay, what happened to this guy?
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Where did this thing go? And there are just no answers for it.
Yeah, and you sort of get this idea that like they're really just trying to make references to other films.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There's so many things where it's just like, oh, the automatic switch to manual control, and you even said you were like, like, yeah, Luke,
Use the Force, Luke.
It really feels exactly like that, and the key code being the Close Encounters theme.
Ba, 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 ba.
It's really obvious, and even like there's references to other James Bond movies. Like the whole fight in space feels a lot like the Thunderball fight under the water.
Yeah,
Except worse, yeah. The whole like hijacking a spacecraft is kind of You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
Which it was Lewis Gilbert's first directorial film for this series.
Yeah.
Heck, even the fight in the glass shop is sort of like the dime store version of the like fight in the French chateau at the beginning of Thunderball.
Oh, yeah, where they're just throwing things at each other.
Yeah, and they're just breaking stuff.
That fight was also really bad because it was pretty clear that they were just like aiming to throw each other into all of the very fancy, expensive glass things.
Mm-hmm. And, Chang's a super forgettable villain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they had him there when they just brought Jaws back anyway.
Yeah, he's sort of just like a placeholder until Jaws. Like,
Yeah.
It really feels that way.
Should we do a quick recap?
Yes, we should do a quick plot recap. This one's a bit of a long one. It kind of goes a few places. So it starts with there's a shuttle called the Moonraker that is being carried on the back of a 747 by the Royal Air Force.
Yeah, it's being transferred from America to Great Britain.
Yeah. And it gets hijacked, and the 747 blows up, and the shuttle goes missing.
You can tell that the two people who hijack it are bad guys because they're both adult men wearing dark-colored leather jackets.
Yeah, they're
in a space station.
Yeah. They're not in uniform.
Yeah.
Then they get MI6, and MI6 is like, all right, we need to get our best man on the job. Let's get 007. Is he back from Africa yet? And he's like on a plane, and while he's on this plane, the lady he's making out with pulls a gun on him, and then the pilot from the plane jumps out with a parachute, and then James Bond is like about to stay on the plane, and then he gets pushed out by Jaws.
What? He's back. This is the first appearance in the movie. You remember that big guy with the metal teeth?
Yeah.
It's him again.
He's back. So James Bond finds the guy, like he's able to fall faster, gets the guy with the parachute, pulls it off of him, puts it on, then Jaws attacks him while they're free falling. He kicks away Jaws, releases the parachute, but then Jaws' parachute doesn't go off and he falls into a circus tent.
I forgot about that. Oh my god. He's just free falling, and then there's like a shot of a circus tent, and like inside you can see people at a circus, and then he just falls on the circus tent, and the entire thing immediately collapses like a
and he's dead.
trail
He just
of
dies.
dominoes.
He dies. The entire rest of the movie should not have happened. He died. Like I don't care how strong or invulnerable or like how like well a circus tent can slow down your momentum. He fell from a plane. He's dead.
There have been some cases where there are people who survived falling out of a plane. It's extremely rare, and usually those people fall into something very soft, like a lot of plant. Also, they were a lot smaller than Jaws was. That man hit terminal velocity so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He kerploded on the ground.
He kerploded on the ground and probably killed a bunch of people attending that circus.
Absolutely, he did. And then he died like 8 more times in this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing throughout the entire movie where he very obviously dies and then he just comes back.
He's just back.
Yeah. So after that, James Bond gets the mission.
Yeah.
And he's got to figure out what happened to Moonraker, and he goes to California where they build the Moonraker shuttles.
To Drax Industries.
And he hangs out with Drax, and Drax like lives near this base like that has all these labs and where they build the shuttles.
Yeah, he's got like a giant campus for like industrial stuff, and then also he moved an entire French chateau out into the middle of California.
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
And while we're there, he gets a tour of the place because he's just checking on things. And he gets into a centrifuge machine to kind of like test it out.
Well, so he's at this point met our Bond girl for the movie, Dr. Goodhead.
Dr. Holly Goodhead.
And he's
still not the worst name.
Not the worst name, no, but it's very bad. He's been very flirty with her, and she has been like immediately shutting him down.
Yeah.
Which I greatly appreciated. I love it when women look at James Bond and go, no, it's not going to continue. Like,
no.
There is a reality distortion field around James Bond, and every woman in his vicinity for longer than 20 minutes will eventually want to sleep with him.
Sometimes not even that long.
So, like, he's been all flirty and shit with her.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like, she's kind of just, like, being a little bit shitty to him and being like, yeah, you're going to go in the centrifuge machine, and I've got stuff to do. Goodbye.
Bye. The centrifuge machine is sabotaged by Chang, who is the henchman for Hugo Drax. He is unable to stop it while he's on there. He's going up to 12 or 13 Gs for several seconds. By the way, you would be dead. Your blood is not in your brain. Or at the very least, you'd have to go to a hospital. Like,
yeah, you got some amount of brain damage going on.
He just gets out and he's a little dizzy. It doesn't work that way. But he stops it by shooting a dart from his wristwatch dart gun, which is a gadget that Q gives him at the beginning. And he actually, for once, it's not like a gadget where he gets it and then it's used once. He uses it throughout the movie.
He does. I will give him that. That's nice.
Multiple times, and it's pretty helpful in a few situations. But he's able to fix that, and then he has sex with the pilot lady who flew him there.
Oh, God, right.
Who works for Drax.
He's, like, staying there overnight, and he, like, sneaks into her room.
Yeah, and she helps him steal some information, which Drax finds out about. Because of course he will. And then the next day, James Bond goes pheasant hunting with Drax, and Drax has a guy in the
like
tree.
Up in the tree line to like shoot him as if like to Dick Cheney him as if it was an accident.
Yeah, but then James Bond turns the tables and shoots that guy missing the fez, and he's like, "Oh, you missed," and he's like, "Did I?"
And the guy falls out of the tree. He got shot.
And after shooting a guy that everybody sees him do, he just gets in a car and drives away. And
leaves.
Drax is just standing there with a loaded gun like, well, that sucked.
Ah, beans. I lost a henchman.
And then, what's her name? Dufour, she shows up. You needed me, sir? Oh, yeah, you worked with the spy. You're terminated employment. Dogs get her.
Yeah, he sicks his dogs on her, and she immediately runs into the woods instead of, I don't know, taking the go-kart that is right there.
Yeah, she drove in a golf cart, and then she decided to not use that to try and escape. I don't know
Which,
why.
like, fair, the dogs are probably faster than the golf cart, but they're also definitely faster than you when you're running through the forest in fucking heels, you dummy.
Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't thinking that through.
I don't think she thought anything through.
Nope. But James Bond finds information that there's these glass receptacles that are being made by a glass company in Venice. So he goes to Venice.
To beautiful Venice.
Yes, and they make a lot of use of Venice in this movie. Like, it looks great. California, they fly over some desert. It looks ugly. You see a little bit of, like, shots of L.A., whatever. Venice, you see, like, the Grand Canal. You see the bridge. You see all that kind of shit. It's awesome. It looks
Beautiful
great.
historic houses. It's
Yeah.
great.
So he figures out what the glass things that they're making. They're these like hexagonal things. While he's there, he sees Dr. Goodhead again, and he's like, "Huh, that's weird. You're here too." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm giving a talk at a thing." And he's just like, "Let's sleep together." And she's like, "No."
No.
Again,
I don't want to do that,
Yeah.
Mr. Bond.
things are going okay so far. Then,
There's when he's at the glass factory, there's like this tour where when he sees Dr. Goodhead, there's like this tour, and this tour lady is pointing out like all of the beautiful old like glass things that are like displayed about the room. There's
Yeah.
like a 400-year-old blue vase, and there's
And-
like a
and
sword with a gold hilt on
you
it.
just know that all that stuff's going to be in a scene later, and it will be.
It's all candy glass. It's all gonna get broked.
Yep. Later that night, James Bond sneaks in and finds out that they're making these glass receptacles for like a nerve toxin that kills only people but not animals.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And also that stuff is going to Rio.
Yes. So all of that happens. He finds out that they're going to Rio. He doesn't know why, but he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go to Rio." Somewhere in this section, there's a boat chase scene through the canals of Venice, and honestly, it's a fun.
It's pretty great.
There's a lot of like little comedic moments, you know.
This is not my favorite movie. This is my favorite boat chase. There is a minute where like James Bond he's in a gondola that
Yeah.
has a motor in the back, and he's like piloting this gondola super fast through the canals of Venice as people in motorboats behind him are chasing him. And there's a bit where he like pulls up to a dock and like pulls a button and it like inflates, and then there are wheels, and he's driving this inflated gondola through the streets of Venice, and there is a shot where a pigeon does a double take. A listener, I am being so goddamn serious right
Yeah.
now. They cut away to a pigeon, and the pigeon moves its head, and then they like rewind that shot to make the pigeon look like it did a double take. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Hannah was crying laughing.
We had to pause the movie a couple of times during this chase because it was so good.
Yep. But then James Bond convinces Dr. Goodhead to pool their resources because he figures out that she's a CIA agent.
What?
And then they have sex, and he abandons her in Venice because James Bond sucks.
Yeah, because he's a bad spy.
And he's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's really not great. So he flies to Rio. Oh gosh, what's the sequence of events in Rio? Because it's kind of complicated. Oh my god.
He checks in. There's a woman in his hotel room. She is some local intelligence officer.
Yep.
And he's like, "Have you seen this thing before?" Or like C&W
Yeah.
imports or something. She's like, "Yeah, I can take you to their warehouse." So that night they go to the warehouse. It's apparently Carnival.
Yeah, it's Carnival.
Yeah.
And in the 5 hours between when they meet and when Carnival happens, they have sex because a lady met James Bond for 5 minutes. They just have
They're
to have
just gonna
sex.
have sex.
At this point, I almost think that like that's they get all the recruits together and they're like, okay, so there's this 55-year-old man coming to town, and the way that like he's a sex-powered spy, like. You need to have sex with him so that we can save the day. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Are you going to be all right?
So it's a very specific kind of debriefing.
Yes. That's going in.
Yeah. So local agent lady takes him to this warehouse. He has to like climb the wall, and she's hanging out in this alley. And there's this giant creepy clown in
Yeah.
like a big head clown like mask thing that
Yeah.
starts very slowly walking down the alley toward her, like super slow. You know that scene in like the episode of SpongeBob where they're doing like Krabby Patties, like ba ba da 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 da, and it never gets any closer.
He just keeps walking.
And oh my god, oh no, that's Jaws. Oh
Yeah.
no.
There's like a scene before when he's like, "Oh, I need a replacement for Chang." Oh yes, if he's available, that's acceptable. And immediately you're like, "Oh, he's talking about Jaws."
Which does a little bit like kind of imply not necessarily like a Spectre organization, but definitely something much like the Guild of Calamitous Intent.
Yeah, there's
where
someone
there's just somebody out there assigning henchmen to guys.
It's like, yes, Hitman, 1-800 Hitman, you know, for all your Hitman needs.
Yeah, and so Jaws reaches local agent lady, and he's trying to kill her, but James Bond jumps down and karate chops him in the neck, and then they're like about to fight, but then a bunch of like Carnival revelers like come down this tiny alley, and they all just kind of avoid James Bond and random agent lady, and like push Jaws out.
Well, he's in like a big clown
he's in a
outfit.
big clown outfit, yeah.
You
But
know?
they're just like, come on, man, let's go samba this way.
Yeah. In fact, we sort of joked that like the whole time they're in Brazil, everyone has like idle animations of sambaing. Everyone's just kind of sambaing a little bit all the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
very much like the villagers in Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, the Delfinos or whatever they are.
Yeah.
You know, those guys, they're just like constantly like... Dun, dun, dun.
I don't remember what information he finds in the warehouse, but then the next day
he found the Drax air freight
Oh,
thing.
right, yeah. So the next day he's like, I have to go like get eyes on the air thing. So he
Yeah.
like takes a cable car ride up a mountain, and he looks through a viewfinder and sees like the planes taking off, and then he looks over and oh my god, what Goodhead's here.
Yeah, Goodhead's here. Wow. And this time they are going to work together.
Yeah.
For sure. James Bond
Super
will not
definitely.
abandon her like 5 minutes from now.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So they go down the cable car, and at the bottom of the cable car, it's Jaws.
Oh no.
And he bites through a cable. Okay, sure. I mean, impossible, but let's say he could do that. It's very unclear what this actually does. Because he bites through this cable and it stops the car from going down, and you're thinking, oh, he's stranding them up there. You know,
or he's going to make the whole car crash to the ground.
Or he's going to, yeah. But then another guy comes up and he just starts the cable car up again, and it just keeps going down. And you're like, what did he do?
Well, Jaws and that guy are working together.
Yes, they're working together.
So that Jaws can get to Bond and, like, kill them. But,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck was the point of breaking the 1K? It doesn't do anything.
Nope. So he takes cable car up while they go down, and it stops, and then he jumps over, and then there's a dumb fight on a cable car.
Yeah.
And it's funny that James Bond always has a gun, except for the times where it would be helpful that he would have a gun, because he could have just shot Jaws there.
He could have just shot him with the dart. Like, he could have just...
Oh, yeah, he had that the whole time.
The whole time. It's got cyanide in it that will kill a man in 30 seconds. And if not Jaws, because he's really big, you have 5 of them. Just put 3 in his ass.
Yeah, it's annoying. And they win the fight.
They go back down. Huzzah!
They go back down there. They take a chain and they like slide down.
Oh God!
And
right.
then the guy speeds it up so that it catches up. So then James Bond and Goodhead drop off at the last minute down onto the side of the mountain, and then Jaws' gondola, or, cable car thing goes crashing through the building. And again, he should be dead. He should be dead. But then he just wakes up and he's just like, oh, well, that sucked. By the way, that whole sequence brought to you by 7-Up.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
There's so much product placement.
Just directly at camera.
Directly at the camera in that whole thing.
So also Jaws, in the crash, he crashes and he's got one of like the big cable car cable wheel thingies on him, and like this woman runs over in like this white sundress, and she's got braided pigtails on, and she helps him push the giant wheel off of him, and then they just look at each other, and like cartoon in love music starts playing. Ba, ba.
Yeah,
Like-
and they just like grab hands and they're just in love. Apparently,
No words are exchanged.
Yeah.
They're just in love. We have been calling. She doesn't have a name. We've been calling her Pippi Longstocking.
She actually does have a name. You never hear it in the movie.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. It's Pippi.
It's yeah.
But yeah, Jaws and Pippi are in love. And like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. He's going to stop henching and go be like, they're going to just live in Brazil and be happy together.
No.
I like that for Jaws. No, unfortunately not.
Also, not to be like weird about ethnicity, but like she's just some short, random blonde white lady in Brazil. Does she live there? Like, so James Bond and Dr. Goodhead are just on the side of this mountain, and then these ambulance guys show up, and they're like, "No, we're fine. Don't worry about it. We're making out." And then those guys attack them and capture them and put them on an ambulance.
An ambulance. And then, okay, it is probably 2 minutes from when they fall off of the cable car to when these guys show up.
Yeah,
How did they get there that fast?
it doesn't make any
It
sense.
doesn't matter.
They get on the thing, and then Dr. Goodhead makes goo-goo eyes at the guard that's in the back of the ambulance, and that allows James Bond to unhook his restraint and then use the fire extinguisher to blind the guy, and then he falls out the back of the ambulance, but Dr. Goodhead is still on the ambulance, and he just leaves her on it and doesn't even try to
Doesn't
get
even
her.
try to get her back. Also, bad on those hench guys for tying him to the only part of that stretcher that moves.
Yeah. And then James Bond rides horses.
It's straight up.
It's like screen wipe. He's riding a horse.
This was another part we had to stop because Donovan was just like, and this is the part where James Bond rides a horse for a while.
Yeah.
And like it is like that. That's it.
And
That's
he's wearing
what's
like
happening.
a Clint Eastwood suit. Like he's got that big poncho and like the cowboy hat. And he's like just riding through this desert. And he gets to a monastery where there are all these like monks. And you're just like, what the fuck movie am I watching?
Catholic monks, guys. Catholic, not
Yeah.
not like East Asian punchy monks, not generic East Asian punchy monks. Catholic monks in like friar robes and tonsors.
Yes, but by the way, they are doing martial arts at each other.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, which is like, okay, that's weird. Oh, but it turns out this is an MI6 field office because Moneypenny and Q and M are all here.
Yeah.
Great, fantastic. Super happy about that. Q shows all the fun gadgets, like a guy sleeping who's actually a machine gun turret.
Exploding boleros.
Yep, and then, of course, Monk with laser gun.
Monk with laser gun.
Yeah, Monk with laser gun is a very important part of this film that we needed to have.
I mean, honestly, it's like the last fun thing that happens in the movie before you're just kind of like,
It's a slow patch there, yeah.
So I'm totally fine with Monk with laser gun.
So then they're like, oh, well, they're going into the middle of the Amazon rainforest because that's where the deadly toxin comes from. It's from flower that's only from this part of the rainforest. So he gets on a boat and he just goes up the Amazon River, like just a leisurely Sunday drive up the Amazon River.
The famously navigable Amazon River.
Yeah, the famously easily navigable Amazon River that is not in any way dangerous or inhospitable.
All the dart frogs you can eat.
Yes. And then he gets up there, and then a bunch of other boats start shooting at him, and then we have the second boat chase of the film.
Not quite as fun as the first because there's no pigeon double take.
No pigeon double take, although a lot of dummies explode.
Oh my god, I forgot about the other really fun thing that happened in the Venice boat chase is that, like, the boat chase starts with, he's just, like, in a gondola and they're going, right? And there's a boat coming towards them that's, like, a funeral procession boat. There's, like, a coffin in the back, and the coffin opens, and there's so many knives in the coffin, and a guy sits up out of the coffin and throws a knife at Ronaldo, the guy who's piloting... Franco, the guy who's piloting the gondola. Franco dies, probably.
Yeah.
He just gets a knife in the chest and falls in the river.
Yeah.
And then James Bond immediately hucks that knife back at Knife Guy. Knife Guy had so many more knives to throw at James Bond, and he didn't get to throw any of
He
them.
threw like 2 of them, yeah.
And then, like, the coffin gets, like, scraped off the top of the boat, and some fucking Italian, like, Zio walks out with his cigarette, and he, like, looks down over the bridge into the water and sees the coffin and goes, fat, and throws his cigarette at it. It's great!
It's a very funny, totally weird, out of nowhere little bit of that. But anyway, back to the Amazon.
No, I don't want to go back to the Amazon. I want to live in Venice.
Yeah.
It's nicer there. Pigeons do double takes.
Jaws is on one of the boats, and Jaws chases James Bond's boat to the edge of a waterfall, and then the top of the boat pops off, and it's a hang glider, and James Bond just hang glides away, and Jaws goes over the waterfall and dies. He's dead.
He dies.
You never see him again, except you do see him in the next scene. God. Then he, like, gets out, and there's this very, like, hauntingly beautiful white lady in, like, a white dress walking through the waterfall, and she's, like, beckoning him, and he just sort of follows her because James Bond is very predictable.
Very dumb. This is another one of those things where it was just like, why do people think that these movies are, like, smart or good? Because James Bond just continually falls directly next to where the next thing is.
Yeah, he so seldom does any, like, real work. And then he finds a Mayan temple in Brazil?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Wait, Mayan or Aztec? Because it had the...
It's not either.
It's not.
It's not actually either, but it looks like both a little bit, but it's in Brazil. And y'all, I cannot stress this enough. Mayans and Aztecs were nowhere near Brazil. I don't know what to tell you. Hundreds and hundreds of miles away. But in here, there's a bunch of strangely, like, young and beautiful people. And James Bond is sort of, like, blocked off from running away from all of them. And he's just like, this is weird. And then the floor opens up and he falls into a pool with an anaconda.
I loved that anaconda. It did a really good job.
Yeah.
Kudos to the anaconda.
When the anaconda was actually a real one, it was doing a great job. When it was the rubber snake that Roger Moore was, like, fumbling with, it looked kind of bad.
Yeah, that was not as good.
Yeah. But he kills the snake, and then he gets out, and Jaws is there, because he's alive again, not any worse for wear. And Drax is there, and he's just like, "Oh, you killed my snake. How dare you, James Bond?" It's just like, what the fuck?
This guy is, like, the laziest of any of the James Bond guys so far. He also has, like, the least apparent ideology. Like, right up until the very end. And even then, it's kind of like, hey, guy, what are we doing here?
There's a certain air of, like, detached, like, psychopathy that you can kind of say, like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But it comes across really flat and boring sometimes. Like,
yeah, it's like he doesn't give a shit about any of the things that he's doing.
Yeah, I didn't really feel great about it. I don't want to criticize Michael Lonsdale because I don't know how much of that was directing as opposed to, like, acting choices, but it comes across really flat. I just don't enjoy that performance at all.
Yeah.
But this pyramid is apparently where all the shuttles are because they're going to launch into space. Sure. Okay. No. So he goes in there, and then, of course, he gets monologued about the plan. The plan is we're going to shoot a bunch of, shuttles up into space, and we're going to then kill everybody on
hundreds
Earth
of millions of people
with the deadly, deadly toxins. And then we're going to start a master race. The words that he uses. Yeah. Of physically perfect specimens.
I will say, there are black people and other not white people.
Yes.
There are other people of color up in this space station.
Yeah.
So he's not being racist, he's just being eugenicist.
Yeah.
Which is also bad. Which is, to be clear, also bad.
Also very bad. At the very least, so in the book, Drax is a Nazi. He is explicitly joined the Wehrmacht, like he was a member of the Nazi party, and like this is his new version of doing the Aryan master race kind of thing. In the movie, they sort of it's more general, like it's not a race thing. It's like, we want physically perfect specimens, whatever that means.
There's some of the aesthetics of the Nazi party.
Yeah.
He's wearing this very specific shade of brown the entire time.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's not. It does seem like he left the anti-Semitism and the racism behind, and he was just like, yeah, eugenics.
Yeah, just that part, just the anti-disabled and physically different type of people.
Yeah.
Which will actually be a plot point in a little bit. We'll get back to it. So he leaves James Bond in the area where all the exhaust from the shuttle rocket launch goes to kill him and Dr. Goodhead, who is
there
here.
Again.
They escape through the air duct because, when fiery exhaust goes down into a small area, you can just climb through an air duct and you're fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
You know, that's how that works.
You can definitely outrun that fireball, and there will not at all be any sort of like radiating heat coming off.
Yeah,
of that.
that's how it works. And then they go into a cave and they knock 2 guys out, and now they're piloting the Moonraker shuttle to the space station.
There's genuinely not any more explanation than that.
I know. And
James Bond goes to space, and this is the worst third of the movie.
yeah, it's really slow. It has a little bit of the Star Trek, the motion picture thing where it's like, hey, look at this set. Hey, look at this miniature. It's really slow.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like you're supposed to sort of take in the grandeur. And the set is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But it's interminably slow. And they get there and they're like, oh, well, this wasn't being picked up on the radar, so there must be some kind of radar jammer. And they go and they break the radar jammer. And immediately America's like, we're sending Space Marines. Like, just immediately. Like, they have a shuttle ready to go and Space Marines ready to go. A thing that did not exist and still doesn't.
No.
But certainly, like, back then, this is
It
ridiculous.
takes days to prepare
Yeah.
for any sort of shuttle launch.
Uh-huh. They're going to just shoot the shuttle with the Space Marines out, but then James Bond, after being captured, he, like, hits the gravity button to turn the false gravity on. By the way that the fake gravity works in the movie, it doesn't. It's so stupid. There are, like, doors that when they're open, there's no gravity, but when you close them, there is gravity.
Oh, no, don't let all the gravity out.
You can't let all the gravity out, I guess. Like, and it's supposed to be, like, rotational, you know, kind of how, you know, you're using, like, centrifugal force as, like, a you know, fake gravity. But, like, it works everywhere, and it's going down, not out, which is not...
Yeah, not how any of that works. Just stop thinking about it. Your brain is going to explode.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like cleaning brain chunks out of the carpet. So.
Yeah. God. Anyway, the Space Marines get there. And
There's a big fight, like
it's a fight outside. And they're all like
in space,
in
and they're
space.
all shooting
They're
lasers
just,
at
like,
each other.
And there's no, by the way, there is like very little, like they're not moving because they're all in these like EVA suits. They're just sort of like, you know, standing perfectly still and just sort of shooting guns at each other in space.
Lasers. They're shooting lasers.
Yeah, sorry. But a few of them are like spinning around and tumbling, and it's just
There are so many guys that just get like shot out into space, and like they're just gonna be orbiting Earth forever until eventually
Yeah.
they burn up in the atmosphere.
This is the part that reminded me of the water fight scene in Thunderball. And to be fair to Moonraker, it's not as long as the fight scene in Thunderball.
This is true.
But it has some of the same kind of problems. And then it becomes the fight scene from Spy Who Loved Me, where all the guys are on the ship, and now it's just like a bunch of them attacking a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
You know, sure, okay. James Bond manages to convince Jaws to work with him because basically Jaws and Pippi Longstocking are going to get together and you know, they want to be in love or whatever. And
then Jaws is not part of his like perfect eugenicist future. Like he does not meet up to the beauty standards that Drax is set
and
out.
also like Pippi is like really small and also has like glasses, so you know you maybe get the idea that
doesn't talk.
She whispers into his ear.
That's true.
At
Okay.
one point, yes. I mean, we're just kind of going around the circles. They win. They beat Drax. He shoots him with the dart and shoots him off into space, and then he says he had to fly, which doesn't make any sense because he didn't fly. He's in space. Doesn't.
Yeah,
work.
Drax gets sucked out the airlock. The station explodes with Jaws and Pippi Longstockings on it. They're dead. They're definitely dead. Except no, they're not. We've found 2 survivors on the
somehow.
station.
Okay.
And then James Bond and Goodhead have sex on camera in front of the Queen.
Well, first they have to shoot the.
It doesn't matter. They save
First
the day
they
and
have
win.
to shoot the thing that's going to spread all the toxins out, and they have the scene where he's shooting it like in Star Wars because you have to have the reference to Star Wars. And then James Bond has sex in front of the Queen, and he attempts re-entry. Yeah, that's the joke. And then that's the end of the movie.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Again, 2/3 of a pretty fun movie, 1/3 of bleh.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk about a few of the actors here.
Please do.
So Holly Goodhead is played by Lois Chiles. She was probably most well known for playing Holly Harwood on the show Dallas.
Okay.
And she's done a ton of TV cameos. Like, she's one of those actresses that, like, whatever show that you're thinking of right now that you have seen, she was probably on like one episode doing something at some point. That's just kind of who she is.
Including The Nanny. Good for her.
Including The Nanny. Michael Lonsdale is Hugo Drax. Michael Lonsdale was in Day the Jackal. He was in Remains of the Day. Like, he's like one of those, very serious kind of character actors. He's been lots of stuff. And a connection with a future Bond, he was in the movie Munich with Daniel Craig.
Oh, cool.
Yes, great movie, by the way. And, I mean, Day the Jackal is fantastic, too,
I'm looking at his IMDb. It looks like he's in a lot of, like, French movies.
Yes, because he, I believe... Yeah, so Michael Lonsdale, he was, like, half British, half French, and he, like, lived in France. Mm-hmm. So, that's kind of, he was sort of French. He was French. He was British and French.
Yep.
Golly. This fucking movie. So then we've got Chang, who's played by a guy named Toshiro Suga. Toshiro Suga was a famous Aikido instructor.
Oh, that makes sense.
He was not really an actor, although he did do some acting gigs. He got into this movie because one of his students, as a martial arts teacher, was a man named Michael G. Wilson. Michael G. Wilson is the stepson of Albert Broccoli.
Oh.
Here's the thing about Michael G. Wilson. He is about to become a fixture of the James Bond series because he's going to be a screenwriter and producer of, like, all of the James Bond films going forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't really have a ton to do in this one, but he will be in pretty much all of them going forward.
I see.
Kind of a big deal, yeah. Corinne Dufour is played by Corinne Clary, her real first name. She was in a movie that same year with Richard Kiel as well as Barbara Bach from previous James Bond films called The Humanoid, which was another one of those, sci-fi films that Richard Kiel just did tons of.
Yeah.
She's in lots of Italian films.
Were you going to bring this up, that she is in The Story of O?
What, the Story of O?
Yeah, so the Story of O was like a fairly famous, very early story about like dominance and submission.
Oh.
It is explicitly like a porn story.
Oh.
It is erotica. And apparently they made it into a movie and she was in it.
Okay.
It's very famous if you ever are in any sort of BDSM circles. Most people will know of it, at least.
Wow. Okay. Colonel Scott, the head of the Space Marines, who we saw at the end, is played by a guy named Mike Marshall. Mike Marshall, his first film was also Richard Kiel's first credited film appearance.
Oh.
Which is The Phantom Planet.
Hey!
Which we just watched the Mystery Science Theater 3000 for.
Yeah.
Terrible film. And weirdly enough, he was French, not American. But he did a good job playing one. Dolly. That is Pippi Longstocking's character's actual name, who it's never brought up. Her name is Blanche Ravaillac. She was kind of known mainly for doing a lot of English to French dubbing of television because she's French.
Sure.
That was her main thing. I'm also going to mention a funny, weird thing here. Hannah.
Yeah.
What are the physical characteristics of Dolly in the movie?
She's very blonde. Her hair is in two plaited pigtails, and she's got glasses on.
Okay. No other noteworthy features about her?
She's really pale white.
Okay. There's a Mandela effect thing.
Oh, yeah?
About her. Tons of people swear that she had braces.
I can see why people would think that, but they are wrong.
They are wrong. But tons of people swear that she had braces, and in fact, there are reviews from the 70s mentioning that she has braces. But there are also reviews contemporaneously that did not mention that.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people are like, this is a Mandela effect thing, because when I was a kid, she definitely had braces, and now she doesn't. And what happened? Blanche Ravaillac has come out and just said, like, I did not. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, so you saw pigtails and you saw glasses, and you were like, child, which gross, that's an adult, but also part of that was like, oh, she's definitely got braces, because that's another marker of being a child.
And also, it's a kind of ironic because Jaws has metal teeth, and so there's kind of a fun little like.
Sure, yeah, no, I could definitely see people like doing that in their head, like because she smiles at him and then he smiles at her.
Yeah,
and I could definitely see them being like, oh, he likes her because she also has metal teeth.
I could totally see why it happened, but no, sorry,
No.
y'all, didn't happen. And then we had a bunch of recurring actors from MI6 and from the Russians. We had General Gogol come back. We had Frederick Gray in a few scenes. Moneypenny, of course. And sadly, Bernard Lee. He's making his last appearance as M in this film.
Aw.
He would die of cancer in 2 years.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes, sad. We will have another guy playing a new M for the next few films.
Do they explicitly say this is a different guy? Like, this is a different M?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, like, I want to say that like there's a portrait of Bernard Lee like in the office, and it's a different guy, and he's like, oh, it's my predecessor. You know, like it's one of those kind of situations.
Sure.
Is explicitly a different guy, and that guy carries over into the next Bond actor too, which begins a lot of the like, this is obviously not the same guy. It can't be.
Yeah.
The continuity doesn't work. Beside the point. Hannah,
Yeah.
this was the most successful James Bond film.
No! It can't be! That's not true!
That's impossible!
It's impossible! Cut my hand off.
Search your feelings, Hannah. You know it to be true.
I hate it.
Yeah, it made $210 million.
That's insane.
Yeah. If you count for inflation, it's still only third. It's still behind Goldfinger and Thunderball. But as far as raw numbers, it was the biggest one. And it would be the most successful one by raw numbers until we get to, like, the 90s. Like, it's going to be up here for a while.
I'm gonna say something mean.
Okay.
People are dumb, and I blame all of you for this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I should mention, though, that while it was a bigger success overall, it made $25 million more than its predecessor. But it cost $20 million more to make. So it was only a $5 million increase in profits. This will actually kind of have some repercussions down the road. United Artists is about to hit a little bit of a lean period, and they're not going to be able to spend this kind of money on movies pretty soon. We're going to talk about that next time, though.
Yeah, I mean, they spend so much money on this.
Yeah.
Like, so much money.
So much money. That Ken Adams set, God, yeah.
That looked really good.
By the
There are
way,
a lot of Ken Adams sets that
we
look really
kind of
good.
briefly mentioned it. The space station set is really cool, but he does this great interior in the inside of the pyramid that's absolutely beautiful. Like
It's so good. I pick a set from James Bond that Ken Adam made, and I would live there.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't even like the minimalism stuff. I would put so many tshotchkes everywhere.
Yeah.
I would still live there.
Oh, totally. I still the You Only Live Twice like volcano.
Oh, yeah.
thing, like man, that place rules. The little monorail cars, God, beautiful. Anyway, reviews for this film were mixed. It was very successful, but people kind of knew that it wasn't that good. You know, some people were like, "Oh, it's so much fun! It's big! It's over the top!" You know, they sort of were enamored by the spectacle. But a lot of people felt like the plot was ridiculous. Stuff didn't really make any sense. People complained about the product placement. We talked about that a little bit while we were watching. But, like, boy, 7-Up paid a lot of money to be in this movie. Marlboro paid a lot of money to be in this movie. Like, there are some very obvious product placements in this film. And nowadays, we're sort of more used to that, especially in big blockbuster action films. But back then, it was kind of weird and jarring sometimes to see. You know, you just be like, 7-Up!
7-Up! 7-Up! 7-Up!
We're-
7-Up!
We were only, like, one step away from James Bond, like, drinking one and then looking at the camera. You know? It's in there. Delicious. But some people do really love this movie. Some people love how over the top and ridiculous it is. You know, some people thought at the time, yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's some of them kind of felt like this was James Bond embracing the camp.
Yeah.
You know, and I can kind of see that. Retrospective reviews, people looking back, typically this one is considered pretty bad.
Just real quick. So the Globe and Mail critic Jay Scott, he said that Moonraker was second only to Goldfinger. In the first few minutes, this is a quote, in the first few minutes before the credits, it offers more thrills than most escapist movies provide in 2 hours. The excitement has gone all the way up to giddy and never comes down. And then Frank Rich of Time said, the result is a film that is irresistibly entertaining, as only truly mindless spectacle can be. Those who have held out on Bond movies over 17 years may not be convinced by Moonraker, but everyone else will.
I can kind of see some of that. So, according to the Thermometer, Moonraker is 20th on their list.
Yeah, I can see that.
That feels about right.
Yeah.
They have a critic score of 59%, audience score of 43%. So that's actually lower than the critics had on this one, which is weird because this seems like a critics hate it, but it's a crowd pleaser. But if anything, it's kind of the opposite. It's sort of a crowd meh, and critics yeah. But I mean, gosh, where do I have it? Looking at my list, it's probably, if it's not the bottom one, it's like near the bottom.
Yeah, okay. 2/3, I keep saying it, but 2/3 of this movie is pretty fun and good.
Yeah.
And if I think about those 2/3, and especially that pigeon double take, and that Italian Zio just like getting so angry at a coffin in the canal,
yeah,
it'll be a little bit higher probably, but it's not great.
Yeah, my list as I'm looking at it, I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but it's kind of breaking into 4 tiers.
Sure.
And the top tier is, these are the ones I like, unironically just really like as films. Tier 2 is, they're pretty good. They got some fun stuff. I like them. The third tier is, I mostly don't like this movie, but there are some things that I enjoy. And then the fourth tier is, fuck this movie. I don't know if Moonraker is in fuck this movie territory, but it's close.
It's pretty close.
It's right on that borderline between the, like, fuck this movie and also the, like, it's got some stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same area where, like, Diamonds Are Forever and On Her Majesty's Secret Service kind of live for me.
Sure.
I'm not totally fuck this movie, but I'm also not like, I guess, kind of going off of the criteria that I used before. When I watched Live and Let Die and that movie was over, I'm like, I don't ever want to fucking watch this movie again. I don't feel that way about this. I'm like, it was dumb, but I'd watch some of it, I guess. Which is kind of where I am with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I guess. I don't know.
Like, if it's playing, I'll watch it, and then I'll probably take a nap for the last, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, no kidding. Where are you thinking? Kind of about there?
Yeah, middle end.
Yeah, absolutely.
The middle bottom.
One nice thing, though, about this movie is it was nominated for the Best Visual Effects Oscar.
Oh, good.
Which I can kind of see.
Yeah, there are a lot of explosions. I'm not gonna harp too hard on the explosions making sound in space. But hey, just a reminder, explosions don't make sound in space. Yeah.
Interestingly, some people at the time who really hated it, Sean Connery. Sean Connery went on record saying that this movie sucks. He said it had such a dependence on effects that it had no substance. Like, I guess I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to wrap us up for Moonraker.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I was sort of expecting there to be more like, oh my God, we got to talk about this. But the movie, it's so unremarkable in lots of ways.
It's kind of very formulaic Bond, except for a few
Yes.
standout moments, and then it's extremely annoying to watch.
Yeah, and this is like peak Goofy Bond.
Yeah.
James Bond is going to have a little bit of a reset going forward. Spoiler alert, Moore's got 3 more films, and the tone varies quite a bit between the 3, but the next one is very much like, we're going to get serious again. We're not going to be dumb and goofy and in space. We're going to be serious and skiing.
This is serious national security spy shit, guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for us this week. I've been Donovan.
I'm Hannah.
Yeah,
I'm
and
very tired. I like the whole last bit of the movie. I was just going, God, I'm so tired.
yeah. Bye, folks.
Bye.
Boy, this was not in any way entertaining end to the episode.
No. Much like the movie, the episode kind of ends on a wet flop.
Yeah, it sort of runs out of steam about, 2/3 of the way through.
We've missed our chance to have sex in front of the queen, though.
Oh, she's dead.
You can't. You have to cut that joke. That's a joke that I make to you, my boyfriend, not to the greater internet at large.
Oh, it's so good, though. Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.